A dangerous storm train is coming, and it is going to cause some very serious problems over the next several days. We are shifting fast into a much more volatile setup, with severe storms erupting across the central and eastern United States tomorrow, and temperatures crashing hard as a strong cold front drives south. But this is not a one-and-done system, because right behind it, another surge of unusually warm air is already lining up and ready to take over as we head into early next week. And that surge of warmth is going to set the stage for a powerful and potentially widespread severe weather pattern during the first week of the month. The weather is about to get very active and very serious. So let's get right into the forecast. And this active and concerning stretch of weather begins tomorrow as we now have a level 2 out of 5 slight risk of severe weather in place, which includes Detroit, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, and back into Springfield, Illinois. There's a large marginal threat from western New York all the way into central Missouri, where all hazards of severe weather are expected to be on the table tomorrow. The wind threat should remain pretty scattered with gusts around 60 to 70 mph, but that is honestly not going to be the story. The story tomorrow is going to be the risk of very large hail. We are going to have several supercells developing during the middle of the afternoon, right around 3 to 4. Any storms that fire in this environment are going to begin to scree and then cluster together into a line of thunderstorms. So any initial discrete supercells tomorrow carry a real risk of very large hail. And whenever we talk about discrete supercells, that sometimes entails a tornado threat. And tomorrow is no different because there is going to be a risk of a few tornadoes tomorrow afternoon and evening. I would say that tornado risk is fairly conditional and really depends on whether storms can actually stay discrete or semi-discrete. Nonetheless, if you are anywhere in the slight or marginal risk area, there is at least a risk of a few tornadoes tomorrow, and a tornado or two could be on the strong side, as we have plenty of wind shear in this environment. If you're anywhere in the Ohio Valley or the Midwest tomorrow, we need to be staying weather aware with multiple ways to receive warnings. We are going to be live covering this tomorrow, so make sure you are subscribed and click the bell icon so you're notified the moment we go live. Now, I want to talk more specifically about tomorrow, because one of the biggest things I am watching is that we have seen a very significant uptrend with the instability forecasted for tomorrow. That means the atmosphere is going to be much more unstable than even yesterday. That is a lot more storm fuel, and it is going to lead to a lot more storms tomorrow afternoon and evening. These instability numbers are higher than what we had yesterday. We were looking at values around maybe 1,000 to 1,200 joules per kilogram at the maximum. Now today, the models have uptrended a lot closer to 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram over near central Illinois and into Indianapolis. Keep in mind, this is an area that has already been hit by significant severe weather recently. So I am a little concerned with this setup because if any discrete supercells form, there will be a very favorable environment for a tornado or two, especially in this region. Another concerning feature I have been watching is that our significant tornado parameter values, which basically take into account wind shear, instability, and all those ingredients needed for tornadoes into one single parameter, are also a lot higher than what we were looking at yesterday. They are now into the 3, 4, even 5 range across eastern Illinois, Indiana, into southern Michigan, and also Ohio. So again, any discrete supercells that form in this environment tomorrow afternoon would be capable of producing tornadoes. However, we may see the storms cluster together too quickly, which could limit our tornado threat. So we really need to see how things pan out over the next 24 hours. And honestly, this might come down to what actually happens in real time tomorrow on our live stream. Things could go either way, but at least right now the environment is definitely there for tornadoes. And even around 7 in the evening tomorrow, we will still have an environment where there could be a couple of tornadoes out there. But I do think by 7, these storms are going to get a lot more clustered and linear. And once that happens, the significant tornado parameter values honestly do not matter anymore. I think a lot of what we see after 8 tomorrow will be damaging winds, some heavy rainfall, some flooding, and maybe an isolated brief tornado, but the risk will definitely be lower after sunset, which is great news because we do not like nocturnal tornado threats. They are the hardest thing in the world to cover because sometimes you cannot even see the tornadoes if they are on the ground and people are sleeping, which is never a good situation. Now, let's talk more about the timing of severe weather for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is going to start out pretty quiet with some passing showers and even some snow showers off to the north near the Up Michigan. By around lunchtime, there will be an increasing amount of convection in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, but none of this is expected to become severe. Once we get to about 3 in the afternoon, though, I think things really start to ramp up. We will start to see some storms fire right around Chicago, and if these are able to organize fast enough, there's a real risk of a pretty significant hailstorm developing somewhere in northern Illinois or near South Bend, Indiana, around that 2 to 4 in the afternoon window. We need to monitor this very closely because the environment tomorrow is very favorable for very large hail storms. We could have storms produce up to baseball-sized hail out of these initial supercells. Once we hit 4 in the afternoon, we will have multiple storms out there. I think we will have at least 2 or 3 different discrete cells, all of which will be mainly producing a large hail threat, but there could be an isolated tornado risk by then as well. By 5 in the afternoon, storms will start to move further to the south and east, moving from northwest to southeast. Northern Indiana, near Fort Wayne, South Bend, over towards Three Rivers. We are going to start to see these discrete supercells move into your area with large hail, damaging winds, and a couple of tornadoes on the table. I think by about 6 to 7 in the evening is when things are going to become more clustered and linear. What that means is our damaging wind risk increases, our hail risk starts to decrease gradually, and our tornado threat stays about the same through about 6 or 7. Then once we hit about 8 or 9 is when the tornado risk gets a bit lower. We could see a QLCS tornado risk develop, so there is still a possibility of a couple of tornadoes out there within the line. Damaging winds and a low tornado risk will exist with this large area of convection stretching from Indianapolis all the way into northeastern Pennsylvania. We could see some storms fire off around or just after sunset over in central and southern Illinois, and if any storms were to fire there after sunset, I could see there being at least a low-end tornado threat. But I think by about 11 or midnight, a lot of our storms are going to be done. There will still be plenty of rain and some thunderstorms in terms of lightning, but severe weather will likely be done for the most part. Through the overnight hours into early the next morning, we will still have some showers and some heavy rainfall, but a lot of it will dissipate. Very low-end threat for a stronger severe storm over in eastern Virginia or North Carolina the following day, but hail and wind would be our only concerns there. Now, I want to talk about what is coming after this storm system, because in my opinion, next week actually looks a lot more concerning than tomorrow. Our severe weather events are going to likely get a lot more widespread and a lot more organized. This weekend looks mostly quiet. High pressure builds across the East Coast with no big storm systems anywhere in the country. Saturday and Sunday are genuinely going to be phenomenal days for outdoor activities, going to the beach, all that good stuff. Monday and Tuesday is when things get more interesting. On Monday, we are going to see a trough move over the Rockies with some Pacific moisture, and that should develop into a storm system across the northern plains and Midwest. This could bring some severe weather on Tuesday, but placement is highly uncertain. We are watching anywhere from the northeast into the upper Midwest for scattered damaging winds, hail, maybe even a tornado risk. But this storm, with how far north it is going to be, could struggle to pull Gulf moisture, which is a key ingredient for, I think by around the first of the month, we might be talking about a pretty significant day of severe storms, possibly from the Midwest into the southern plains. Our weather pattern is going to favor large storm systems moving over the Rockies with this troughing pattern. We should see at least 2, 3, maybe 4 storms just during the first 7 days of the month. There's really no end in sight to our severe weather right now. Make sure you are subscribed and spread the word because it is going to be a very active stretch ahead. And before we talk about temperatures, I do want to mention we just released some really cool new outdoor event planner tools on our website at maxvelocitywx.com. It is also the top link in the description below. If you have any outdoor events coming up over the next 7 days, you can get an actual forecast for your exact location by clicking on the map. We also just released freezing temperature outlooks, weather soundings, weather stations, trucker weather, road conditions, and our beach weather tab. All of these just came out within the last several days, and you can use all of them completely for free. The trucker weather tool is probably one of the coolest ones. You can click on any interstate for any given day and see exactly when conditions are going to be the worst for travel. It shows you precipitation, visibility, all that good stuff. Make sure to check it out at maxvelocitywx.com. Over the next 7 days, we are also going to be on a temperature roller coaster. Right now, we have this large heat wave moving in, and temperatures are going to be very hot for this time of year tomorrow. Some record-breaking high temperatures are possible from central Illinois into Arizona and New Mexico. Then, the cold front pushes south on Friday and Saturday, bringing temperatures down about 20 to 30 degrees below what they will be tomorrow. Some relief is on the way from this heat that has been building over the last week or so. But once we go into the first week of the month, we are once again going to see that large plume of warm air return as warm. Gulf air moves north and Pacific moisture moves over the Rockies. Good news is that with this severe weather, we are going to see shots of cold air on the backside, so we should have a more normal weather pattern. Bad news is severe weather is coming. Good news, some relief will be on the way after each storm system moves through. We have had a lot of stagnant air recently with that large ridging in place across the desert southwest. The good news is our weather pattern is going to get a lot more active going forward. As always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We will likely be live tomorrow and also have a video tomorrow morning, so click the bell icon so you are notified with the latest updates. And if you have any feedback or new outlooks you would like to see on the website, let me know down in the comments below. I am reading all the comments, so make sure to let me know what you think.